Nthanda, and I will be your host tonight. And I am hoping that you'll be a lovely audience. It's very difficult to stand in front of people, so I will need you to help me out tonight. Please, if I crack a joke, laugh and support me. If it's not funny, just still laugh that the guy who's cracking a joke is not funny enough. Is that okay? Before we go any further, I would like to introduce Alex and co-Alex to this stage so that he introduces our panel for tonight.
I'd just like to firstly explain a little bit of what we do here. The entire foundation is a youth organization. We focus on creativity and innovation for development and advocacy. Under the TAF Foundation, we have several programs that we're currently running. We will be explaining those to you in due time throughout the course of the evening. But next, I think I'd like to introduce what Bants2Business is. Bants2Business, for most of you, we're aware that you just got the invitation and you're invited without too much of a background. That's why we even appreciate more why you turned up. Bants2Business is a multi-platform forum for young entrepreneurs. What we're trying to do is connect you to opportunities, investments, and resources as young entrepreneurs so that you can learn, grow, connect, and achieve. Our first platform is this event. We will soon be having these events on a monthly basis. So this event, our first event obviously is focused on creative entrepreneurs such as most of the people in our crowd today. So that is the basic background of Bants2Business. As Godfrey said, we are about to go into our panel discussion. So I'd just like to give you a background on our panel for tonight. First of all, we have Dr. Q Malewezi. He hates it when I call him that, but I'll do it anyway. Dr. Q Malewezi is a Malawian musician, poet, all-round creative. He does events. I'm sure this is not a name among you that is new. I could go on and they've been around for a long time, so, doctor, there's a lot here. But in the interest of time, I would like to move on to our next panelist, rather our facilitator, who is Ms. Nthanda Manduwi. She would describe herself as a jack of all trades, but a master of media. Her background, educational background is economics, but she has become one of Malawi's top media influencers, especially in digital marketing and digital media. So without further ado, I think first, as we would say, ladies first, Ms. Nthanda Manduwi, may you please step up and take your seat. Now, may I have the good doctor to come up and please take his seat. And Mr. Lipanga is a youth activist. He works in the government and is very passionate about growing and basically elevating the youth into media and whatever entrepreneurship angles that they can be to curb the issues that are mostly affecting the youth today, including unemployment, which is something I think that most of you will understand and know why he would be passionate about that. For most creatives, I think we'd even delve into this as a business because we understand how important it is to create jobs and opportunities for ourselves. So please, one more round of applause for Mr. Lipanga.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much, Alex, for the introduction. First, welcome, and thank you so much for accepting our invites and accepting to be here. It's the first event that we're having as the Kwato Innovation Creative Center. So today, I have Q Malewezi joining me and Deus Lipanga. So I'm so honored to have you guys here this evening. And so I think we're just going to go straight into the panel, or maybe should I let you guys introduce yourselves? This is banter a little bit. Do you want to have a brief introduction?
No, it's already done.
Okay, so it was already done. I think they're comfortable with that. So we're just going to get into it. So the topic tonight, today is World Entrepreneurs Day, first of all. Are there any entrepreneurs in the house? Woo! Can I have a show of hands? Entrepreneurs in the house? Woo! Okay, I see quite a number of hands. That's amazing, and I think we need to build that circle in Malawi. So I'm actually happy to see a number of hands out there. So today, one of the things that is the theme of the World Entrepreneurship Day is about excelling, or let me say surviving the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been pretty bad on all of us. I think we have been hit differently. and it's been quite hard to survive. So the theme this year is about reflecting how we have survived the COVID-19 pandemic and how we can continue to do so. So the first question that I had for my panelists was, what has been the most difficult situation to navigate through the COVID-19 pandemic, and to you, I would say, as a creative entrepreneur, and maybe to do so, say, in your sector and supporting the people that you do, what has been the most difficult thing to navigate?
I think for me personally, as a performer, that meant no in-person performances. And I run an events company. We provide event services, so we do event management, production and management. So all that stopped. We do technical production, we do lighting, sound, etc., etc. So all those revenue streams stopped overnight. So the biggest challenge was income, revenue. Yeah, that was the biggest.
Okay, cool. And just to you, supporting the people that you do, the young people that you support, what has been the biggest challenge with COVID-19?
Yeah, I think with the whole pandemic, basically life came to a standstill. So there was no business as usual. The traditional methodologies of doing business had to change. The in-person kind of contacts that we're used to, we couldn't do that anymore. So it has been hard for business people, for entrepreneurs to adapt to the changes that have come due to COVID-19. And not many have been able to adapt to the current climate. So it has been a challenge, especially when you look at the young entrepreneurs or the startups, because they are just learning the trade. And for them to navigate all these difficult waters, it has been quite a challenge for them.
Okay. So I think the next question was about how entrepreneurs can navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. But before we get to that, I know we speak a lot about all the bad things that have happened in COVID, but I'm curious if there have been any good things that have come about due to COVID. If none, you can tell me. But if there have been any, have there been any positives because of COVID?
I think for any creative or artist, I always say you need to understand the rhythm of the times. You know, rhythm is made of both noise and silence. And I think what COVID has done, it's given us this time of silence where we can reflect, re-strategize, work on content, etc., and just have that time to develop other aspects of our creativity that we normally wouldn't when we're so busy with the quote-unquote noise. So I think for myself, and I know a whole bunch of other creatives and artists, they've gone through that same process of deep reflection and almost reinventing themselves in a way as well. But also I think, just to go back to the other challenge, yes, the revenue was a problem, but I think also relationships in terms of the art of being human, where everyone is sort of isolating from friends, from family. Yeah, I'll go months without seeing my parents, and it wasn't good, So I think those relationships really suffered, because I think naturally we're communal people, we love to interact in person, and having that getting removed from life, I think it definitely affected how we relate to each other.
No, I really like that. The first part, that is not taking away. I miss giving people hugs. I love seeing you guys here today. I know it's almost risky, where there's a bit of fear inside of me, okay, we're here, it's scary just convening like this. I miss being able to convene together, and I don't go to see my parents either. Sometimes I'm I miss my mom, but I'm okay, to keep her safe, maybe I should stay in the city. So that's been pretty bad. In terms of creativity, I do agree that it has given us time to reflect and to strategize, because I think thinking about the start of the pandemic, myself and my entire team had a lot of ideas that we were trying to churn out, but I think it has given us time to reflect, to really think about, okay, for example, for this particular platform, how can we make it better, How can we make it more impactful? Because it's not just about starting something and doing something. So I think the pandemic has given us a bit of time to think and really reflect how we can have a bit more impact. So I like that, yeah. Back to you, Juice.
So one good thing about COVID, hygiene. So a couple of days ago I was in ShopRite. So it came to me like, you know those trolleys and baskets that we use? Usually those are not cleaned. Previously they were not cleaned. I mean, I would come in, grab one, leave it there, and then. But now I think the hygiene aspect of our life has greatly improved. And yeah, a lot of us are washing hands, I don't know how many times a day. Previously we just grab a piece of fruit or something and then just chew on it. But I think the hygiene aspect of our lives has greatly improved. And personally, I'm someone who loves personal space. So the social distancing has worked for me, kind of in a way. But yeah, I think that's one aspect of our livelihood that has greatly improved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No, that's amazing. All right. So we're moving on to the last bit, which is how to navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. I think it's been hard on all of us. Yeah, I think in one way or the other, we've all found ways in which we have suffered, our businesses have suffered. So I just want to learn from our panelists and you guys as well in the audience, how do you think entrepreneurs can ensure their businesses survive, or maybe even beyond survive, thrive during the COVID-19 pandemic?
I think this is the time that we have to learn a whole bunch of new things and also invest into new things that will work now. And also partnerships as well. We have to explore partnerships with people who already, who maybe your services complement each other. For example, we do events, we do event production, we do technical production, mainly on sound, lighting, etc., etc. But we've partnered with KBG, Nyali Music, in terms of live streaming of events. And we're getting a lot of business doing those events together. I don't think that could have happened pre-COVID. So I think now is just to really explore the issue of collaborations, partnerships, technology that's working. We need to do a lot of research and also treat this situation as if it might not change, you know?
Normal.
Yeah. And also with whatever money that you're going to generate, to really have a solid financial plan and start investing in some other non-creative stuff that will bring income. So use this time, if you're making money, if you've got the opportunity to make money, diversify your revenue streams. So that if something worse comes, you know, you can still survive. You can still, yeah.
All right. And over to you, Jess.
Yeah, I think what I would like to suggest is innovation, because innovation strives on crisis, and people innovate whenever there's a need within their society. So I think with the current pandemic, we already see the needs that various sectors, entities, organizations require for them to operate, either directly dealing with the pandemic or even dealing with some other effects of the pandemic itself. And those are entrepreneurial avenues or opportunities that need to be taken advantage of. A very simple example, along the streets, most of the vendors, previously you would see them selling fruits, etc. But now you see a lot of them selling face masks. And that is an opportunity that is there, which has been presented by the pandemic itself. So I think, as Q said, we need to think outside the box, think differently in terms of what is it that we can provide as entrepreneurs in the presence or in the face of the pandemic itself. So I think with that kind of a mindset, definitely we'll see new entrepreneurial ventures coming out, but also the diversification in terms of what businesses are doing, definitely I think will sustain or even grow some of the enterprises that can be undertaken. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jess. Q, you have something else to say?
Just an addition, no, thanks for that contribution, that I think this creative life, you will get to a point where you you realize that there's a difference between what you're known for and where you make your money. So use what you're known for to do the things that will make you money. And I think sometimes as artists and creatives, we try to make money from that thing that we're known for. I'll tell you, I don't make a lot of money from poetry. I don't, but it's what I'm known for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just also wanted to add that as we're looking at the innovation, looking at the different things that we can do to generate income, let's also look at these non-fun stuff. That because we're creative, we can actually surprise ourselves that we're really, really good at the non-fun stuff that will bring a lot of income.
Yeah. No, I have to agree on that. I think actually 2 months ago we have the mom management training program. We have several training programs that we have here, and I think our team joined us about 2 months ago. And I had a comment from, was it Vitu or one of them, where they said, "We didn't think you worked this hard, because when you see you on social media, you just seem to be living your best life. But behind the scenes, I'm managing social media, I'm managing the websites. Nobody gets to see that. All they see is the fun stuff." So I do agree, especially on the part where you say now I'm just sharing personal experiences, and I'm hoping you guys can also share on what works for you and what has worked for you. For me, like, I know I'm a personal brand. People know me, and I've seen people say, "I love how you brand yourself. Can you help me brand my company?" I don't have all the skills to do that, so I have a team where I'm like, okay, you do that, you handle that social media and all that. But people know me as that person who is well branded, and they want me to help them with that. And that's not the pretty stuff. Branding businesses is not fun, but we get to do that. We get to deal with websites that are not working, and we get to do the non-fun stuff, so we can look to be seen. We can be seen to be doing the fun stuff. So I do agree with Q on that you kind of get into those avenues where it's not always what you're known for.
Sorry, just to go on, I know we always stress about numbers. There's expressions, people say numbers don't lie. And I think a lot of times in our business, we want to go for the big numbers. So as concept creators, the events we were doing at BICC, we didn't need to market to the whole country. We just needed about 1,000 people who have money to buy a ticket, whether VIP or stand, and those are the people that mattered. And I think in all the businesses, we should not go for the big numbers, but I think what are the numbers that count for you? So I would say don't write things off because you're saying you're not going to get the numbers that you used to. But I'm sure that if you look at Lilongwe has a lot of money. Lilongwe, there is a lot of spending power in Lilongwe. The numbers might not be big, but the numbers of the people with the spending power are there. So I think the issue is just to challenge ourselves. How do we get to those people and get that business? And I think we need to have that direct sales attitude now as opposed to sitting and waiting for the customer to come. I think one of the things that we need to do is, okay, how do we go now to the customer? And I think there's been a couple of businesses that are thriving now because they've decided that they are going to go to the customer and not wait for the customer to come to them.
Yeah. There have been people, there's always walk-ins in our office every day, like, we do printing services, or we supply this, we do that. So that is true. That is true. Okay, yeah, another key thing that, guys, I think one of the key reasons why we created this platform, and I think Marianne actually corrected me, I was saying that when it comes to business in Malawi, in Africa maybe, but I know Malawi, we don't have much of a network among entrepreneurs. Like everybody, it's almost like we're always competing when we're even doing very different things. When you see, her correction when I said Asians, and she said, no, Malawians of Asian descent. Malawians of Asian descent in Malawi, there are a lot of business people that are there. And they network, they create things together, and they're in business, they support each other, and that's how they're able to grow. So basically, how can you create that network among ourselves? That, for example, for me, I do this, I can't do makeup, I go to Kisa does a bit of my makeup. I can't do, for example, videography, I have my videography team here doing that. How can we collaborate and create things together? Some things that may seem very similar, but for example, if I'm like a fashion designer and I'm really good at making pants, I know that I can do a jacket as well as the next person. How can that person do a bit of that? So we do a little bit of everything, and in the end, we all thrive. So that's the whole essence of creating that. And one of the most important things to do is to share information. I find I don't know, maybe your personal experiences might be different, but in my personal experience, trying to get information from a Malawian is almost always hell. Like people are hiding and holding on to it when we're like, we could do this together and we could all grow together. So yeah, that's the whole essence of this platform, where we get to network and we should be able to throw opportunities to each other and find ways to grow together. I find we should relax and just get to doing business together. So as a business person, you're struggling, I'm struggling, how can we come together? For example, I think there is Ben on the decks there. I would have loved if maybe you guys would get a chance to see inside. We have like a digital learning hub right here. There is an audio production studio, there is a photo production studio. All these are being set by different entrepreneurs. And that's the idea that we're trying to come up with, that how can we all collaborate and create something together. So I just wanted to give that brief background to say this platform is that kind of platform where we come together, we share ideas, and we all build a little bit of something, and in the end, do something amazing together. Yeah, so I just wanted that clarity. Otherwise, I don't know if there's any more input.
My business is talking. I think on the issue of collaboration, we're friends. Yeah, a lot of us know each other. I think when it comes to doing business with each other, I think we need to have a slightly different attitude and respect that this is business. If it's an exchange, let's be clear. If there's money involved, let's pay each other. You know, the reason Malawians of Asian origin is because they pay each other. You know, we've got challenges because we're like, he doesn't need the money, so it's okay. You know, we've got these challenges that when we do business with each other, we get burnt and then we destroy relationships, and then this person doesn't want to deal with this because, you know, there's bad blood when it comes to money. You know, so I think these are some of the issues that we really need to be honest about with each other and address. And another thing, there's a lot of opportunities, there's a lot of money out there in form of grants. We need to develop this knack of doing the paperwork that is needed.
It's hectic.
There's a creative group, I think Ben, you're on it. I throw a lot of grants from, I think, for people who are in music in Africa. They've got a lot of grants. Like right now, I'm sitting on a grant panel of a grant called, I think, Music Access, which is up to $150,000 US. But I'm telling you, no single Malawian has applied.
Do you want us to roast the link?
Sorry?
Where's the link?
No, it's closed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because what we want the gossip.
Of
You know?
course.
Sorry? Oh. Yeah, we don't want to do the paperwork.
Yeah.
You know, we expect money just to come and say, hey, there's this money. We don't want to do the paperwork. We don't want to apply for things. But there are a lot of opportunities out there that we need to take advantage of. So I think that's one of the things that we really, really need to develop a discipline for.
I think this can shed even way more light on that. But I also just one thing to clarify, I know grant applications are hectic. Like I do them all the time, and I know my team has had their fair share as well. Not all of us are writers, maybe not all of us are storytellers. I think it comes easier to storytellers to be able to tell your story and sell your vision. So if you find that you're not good in that aspect, I think you can collaborate with somebody who is good in that aspect. I think grant applications usually take like joint ventures. So for example, I think the last grant we applied for the Music in Africa one, and we collaborated with like photographers. There were other types of artists that's basically saying and they were like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to write, I don't want to do that. So if you don't want to do it, but you have the skills and you're really, really good, you can always look up opportunities and you can collaborate with somebody and say, guy, I think there was even Sotin who had offered me to say that, you know what, I can analyze your organization and we can find where you have gaps and what more we can do. So basically, collaboration I think will get you far. If you try to think I'm going to do everything myself, maybe you won't get there as quickly as you'd hope to. But if you can collaborate with somebody, for example, I've collaborated with like Bants2Business for the past 4 or 5 years. I can't do photography as well as he does. I can try, but not in the ways that he does. And when people get to see our social media, for example, that I go with the Nthanda Foundation, your work is well documented, it's because there is somebody who is a collaborative partner that helps us execute that kind of work. And I think collaboration goes a very long way. Yeah, so Deus, I want you to like just shed more light on like grant applications and opportunities, because I know you sit in a lot of that.
Yes, I think with the type of my work, Sometimes I receive all these opportunities in terms of grants. And it's true, as you said, rarely you see a Malawian even participating in that kind of a process. And this is a gap in terms of, I think most of us are not well capacitated in terms of how to produce a document that is competitive within that process. But again, that's an opportunity for someone to provide that kind of a service. That's a business. Right? I know a lot of consultancies outside, for example, in South Africa. They are there solely just to produce business ideas, to write concepts for organizations, for NGOs. And those are the opportunities that we really need to take advantage of, or to think about. So, one, it's, as I said, that's an opportunity. But secondly, it's also the issue of collaboration. Because I may know something. It's the same thing as Nthanda said. She produced something, she called me over. I looked at it, I said, there's a certain language which is used, etc. So it's that kind of collaboration, because whenever you try to go it alone, you can't know everything. I'll know something, my friend here knows something else. So when you collaborate, when you consult, I think that enriches not just your own experiences, but even your products. And nowadays, I think most of the issues that we're trying to deal with are multifaceted. So much as you may be focused, for example, in fashion, nowadays fashion goes hand in hand with music, for example,
yes.
With technology. So collaboration really, really works, and as has already been said, our colleagues, the Malawians of Asian descent, they collaborate quite a lot. You see different companies, but they belong to one family.
Yes.
And that's how they are making money. This one is producing chickens. The same chickens are going into the pizza business, and this one is in transportation. And that's how we really need to work. And I hope this provides us with an opportunity to start doing that.
Yeah.
Because if we can't do it, then who will be there to do this? Yeah. So let this opportunity be a start. We can start here, and organically it will grow. And more and more young entrepreneurs especially should be able to adopt it as the normal business way in terms of how we conduct ourselves.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I think that brings us to a close. I didn't want this to be too long, so I think briefed us. We're going to be having these events every month. I think our intention is to have an event every month. I think in September we're looking to have one for digital entrepreneurs, and in October we're looking to have one for fashion and beauty entrepreneurs. So I think after that we'll probably have one in agriculture. So we're trying to get into all the sectors. The whole point is to create that network. First, we talk about the things, but beyond talking about it, are we able to implement, throw opportunities to each other, not throw each other under the bus, be able to pay each other, as Q said, and be able to build better businesses together. So that's the whole essence of this network, and I hope that we can build it. It's something new. I hope it works. I don't like building white elephants, so this is something that we're starting, and I'm hoping that it can be something where people can say we built something and we're able to work together and build something together. So that brings us to a close of this panel. Thank you so much, Q, for all the insight. Thank you so much, Deus, for all the insight. And thanks for all of you who shared. We're hoping that the rest of you next time will be more comfortable and to be able to share with us your experiences as well.
Up there we have this by yeah, Dima pusha mpaka zitege, pusha mpaka zitege. Bwana dola zanga kwetani, so mwezi mpaka mipeni. Dima pusha mpaka zitege, pusha mpaka zitege. Bwana dola zanga kwetani, so mwezi mpaka mipeni. Elinoki jama wandi nebenda jama tunde nekontakta pasti 3 ndine bus driver. Tiduteko bwino zingade bwino ko bwino makasi utandipesa nditasenza tumba. Limete antu 20 before 10 bar. Mageta kati masinditela pompa. Sititola chikwa maseti masoka. Ngati sikupula tijela pa moto pompa. Bleda I'm blessed. Funa dola zizaze muvesen. Bwana dola zanga mwetani. So mwezi mpaka mbeni. Dima pusha mpaka zitege,